Hello, everybody. It is Coffee and Pandulce time, and I am one of the co-hosts, Jenny-Jaymes Gunn. Good morning, Christian. How are you?
I'm trying to jam to this Selena. It's actually, I don't think I've heard this song before. Thank you for those who are joining us on Facebook Live and also on YouTube, our video podcast, and also those who now listen to us on our audio podcast platforms like Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, and all of the other ones.
Tagler. My pronouns are she, her. Native here in Charlotte. I work at 5 Points Realty. I'm a realtor, so we're heavily involved in Stonewall Sports as well. I'm on the Gold District Board, and I didn't occur to me to tell you this, but we're having our first annual Wake the Queen Festival this year, including the Wake the Drag Queen brunch during the festival in May. So that'll be fun. And I'm also an activist and advocate and running for city council. You posited in the last show, I believe, how to pronounce the name of our fair city. And it's Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, neighbors, whatever you're drinking this morning, because it is Wednesday morning, February 23rd. Salute to your neighbors. And also, we sponsor and supplier Manolo's Bakery on Central Avenue here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Please visit your Black and brown small businesses during this global pandemic, or any small business, support local. Manolo's Bakery will be having King's Cake. For those who don't know what those are, tamales, all kinds of stuff that it's leche cakes are known. There was actually a avocado war between Mexico and America that just ended on Sunday of this past weekend. Apparently, avocados were not being allowed to come into the United States because there were some threats that were given to one of the inspectors. So the USDA or whoever halted all avocados, and we were almost going to see an avocado shortage. However, everyone agreed that things are working out and avocados are going to flow freely, and you can also buy them from California. Really I'm one of the few people who is actually excited about the Freedom Convoy coming to America, because anyone who's ever lived a day in America knows how hard it is to escape a tow truck. And these Freedom Convoy guys, they will have the tow truck patriots at them, and they'll turn around and go, "Where's my truck?" Because these tow truck guys in America don't fool around. You block anything, they will tow you in a second. Anyone who lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, just try to park in Plaza Midwood.
We have a special guest, and she has a big announcement. And without going into it, I will just let her self-announce what she wants to talk about.
Excellent.
What you doing, Liz?
Well, hopefully, if the Supreme Court doesn't foul up my plans, I am going to file for City Council District 5 this Friday at noon.
Oh, wonderful. So the topic is, what is the dumbest American state, Texas or Florida? Now, there are more in competition, to be fair, and I just want to let you know that on the scale of dumbest states in America, Texas and Florida actually don't come in the top 10. It's the other River Tucky states that Jenny talks about, like Mississippi and Louisiana. I think it comes in there, and I think even Oklahoma. I can't remember. There's a list that I talk about Texas and Florida. I'm a native Texan. I'm part of the Texas Resistance Force. For those people who live outside of Texas, who are from Texas, who feel like we need to save Texas from the people who moved in and owned the state. But also Florida, over the last couple of years, it almost seems like DeSantis and Abbott have been fighting to see who's going to be the dumbest governor. Which one do you think is, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, which one do you think would be the dumbest if you just had those two? If you had to pick one.
Texas.
Texas?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you say Texas?
Florida.
Florida? Okay.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to determine that. So that wasn't fair. So I looked at IQ. There's a map that they do on IQ, and there's the states above 100 and the states below 100. And Texas and Florida both rank below 100. Texas is at 99.9. They're right below. North Carolina, just to give you an example, is at 100.4. So we're just right here. And then Florida is like 15th from the bottom. As far as
I don't know, I'm going to say two names.
Yeah.
On Texas' behalf, Rick Perry former governor, who made George W. Bush look like a genius.
Yep.
And then Ted Cruz, Raphael Cruz.
Yeah.
I think it really has to do with when I learned to Google Florida man. And then later learned to Google Florida woman. And that pretty much explains it all. I mean, all the crazy stuff comes up and you're like, good grief, somebody did that. And it's just unbelievable because, you kind of have in your mind that, it's mostly seniors and tourists and that kind of thing. And then you're like, oh, you forget about all the backwoods places and Google Florida man.
So, well, yeah, and everyone now is going to be Googling. That's probably what Jenny. So listen, this is really tough. And the reason this is tough is because I'm a native Texan. So is Jenny. And I'm a Tejano. For those who don't know, we're actually going to have a show on what is a Tejano. And it is difficult for me because as a native Texan grown up and a person who left, I have had the opportunity to look at my former state from the eyes of what everyone else sees it. When you're in Texas, you're in that bubble. You don't realize the craziness because you're in it. But as I look into it, and I've been able to visit twice at the end of last year, my family there, and I asked them, do you not know? And they know, but they're like, they're in it. It's just kind of what it is. And then Florida, for an example, we spent a lot of time in Florida, and my sister lives in Tampa, Florida, and they're actually in it. And I think they know how crazy their governor is, but it's just like, we deal with it. It's just, there's just like acceptance of it. All these people that hate their public schools and all that, your states have been run by Republicans. So if you're upset, be mad at the people who've been running your state. The dumbest top 10 states, I didn't want to name them, are all Republican states. Wow. And it's like, if you're mad, and Jenny talks about this, the 100 poorest counties that voted for Trump, the 100 poorest counties voted for Trump.
I used to live in Taiwan back in the late 80s, and Taiwan has equivalent population of Texas and New York, about 23 million. All right, so Taiwan was supposed to have the second worst COVID outbreak outside of China because it's right there, and they're quasi China. They technically are, but they live in this space kind of in between where they're sort of independent. And Taiwan has had under 1,000 deaths.
Oh.
Now they do some things we would never be able to do here. They had a $10,000 fine if you broke quarantine. They have Medicare for all, nationalized health care, where they were able to compare the records to the flights and quarantine people like that. And they did digital tracing. But the comparison is that Texas deaths right now stand at 83,867. Taiwan is about 867, I think. So, it's just unbelievable. And they killed off their base. So maybe that gives us a little more of a shot, especially with our match coming in. I don't know if this is.
You must have been watching our shows over the last year because we've been talking about. Yes, we've been talking about that.
And honestly, the only good part of the pandemic is going to be a celebration of death.
I feel like I'm going to be struck down.
Luckily I'm atheist, so
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well. I've got my fire insurance. I had me for. And, well, if it quacks like a duck and it waddles like a duck, I think you're a mother ducker. And you know what I would really like to see in 2024, because we only have a couple minutes left and we need to wind this down. I'll try to leave on a little bit of humor. I would really like to see a presidential candidate, preferably Democrat, who says, I want to succeed away from Texas. I would tell you, I had this theory the other day.
Let's let them go on their own.
Another show. I would love.
Yeah, and I'm actually a native Texan, and 90% of my family lives in Texas. And I would say that you have to treat them like a child and say, okay, I'm going to call your bluff, succeed from us. Go ahead. Bye-bye. We'll see you later. I guarantee you they would vote against it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. So we should just call their bluff and say, no, I don't want relationships with, you know how many companies would move to North Carolina in a second if that happened? I want to tell you that after last week's show, I have been picking all of the green M&Ms that I can find.
Yes.
If anybody watched last week's show, I just want to let you know that I am purposely picking up all these green M&Ms. Bye, y'all. What a perfect song. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you and how you turn out every week for us. And stay safe. There's a lot of Republicans out there. Bye.
Bye, Jen. Bye, Liz.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. The next 15 minutes, stay tuned and hold on to your hat.
Yeah.